Hello guys, welcome back to VP Reacts and I'm Peter.
I'm Vicky.
Welcome to another NHL, I don't know what it means. National Hockey League. Yeah. National Hockey League. Yeah. So welcome to another hockey episode. It's a game, as we said, it's a journey we are in, and it's a really interesting journey. And for today's episode on hockey, ice hockey to be specific, it's entitled Basic Hockey, Neutral Zone, and Offensive Strategy and Positioning. I think it's telling us, or maybe teaching us on our basic rules, on basic skills to play.
Yeah. Just to be specific, the hockey neutral zone, offensive strategy, and positioning. Yeah. Like giving us those skills
of playing. Yes. And this has been sponsored and brought to us, as always, by Dan. So thank you, Dan, for such an interesting journey. Thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy and learn with us to the end.
Yeah, I think this is more educative. At least we're gonna grab some few knowledge here. So stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't, and in case you're new here, welcome so much. We do this each and every day, so subscribe and feel free to share your favorite. We depend on your suggestions, your requests, recommendations. So in case you have one, feel free to share it on our Buy Me Coffee link. We have it on the description. We also have our Buy Me Coffee our Patreon community whereby we post all the movies and even other videos that maybe got blocked on YouTube. We post them on our Patreon. So if you're subscribed to YouTube, also join Patreon. The link is on the description. So let's see what we have here.
Yeah.
And let's enjoy.
If you've ever watched a hockey game or at least seen an interview with a player, you've probably heard something along the lines of, "Yeah, we just gotta get more pucks in deep and get some pucks to the net." They may be cliches, and you probably will. No, you definitely will get sick of hearing them if you haven't already. But there is a reason those things get said so often, and that's why we're here today.
Okay.
We've gone over some basics of how to keep the puck out of our net with basic defensive positioning, but in order to win games, you do also have to be able to put the puck in the opposing net. And that's why we're here this time with basic offensive positioning and strategy. Welcome back to NHL 101 and part 2 of our quick series on basic positioning and strategy in the game of hockey and the NHL. Of course, in part 1, we already talked about the defensive end and how to keep the puck out of our own net with the positioning and strategy there, so if you did miss that one, I'll put a link to it down in the description. I will be referencing that one throughout the course of this one, so again, if you haven't seen it, I would recommend checking that one out. And finally, before we get started, again, these are just the basics. So while there are plenty of different tweaks and strategies around these that teams across the NHL and the hockey world in general will use, these are just the basic principles that we're going to be going over in this one. So now, picking up where we left off on the defensive end, before we even get into the offensive end, we still have to get the puck through the neutral zone, which sometimes can be easier said than done. And as with anything, there are a number of ways to do that. Most teams will have their own preferred method or strategy of getting through the neutral zone, though the one that they end up choosing at any given time in any given game is more often determined by what's being given to them by the opposing team, or in some cases, what the opposing team is taking away. It usually does boil down to one of the following. We could just try to skip the neutral zone.
Okay, so there is a goaltender. Right D, right wing, left wing, right. Oh, how can we name those positions? Like in soccer, there is right wing, forward, midfielder, defender, and a goalkeeper. Here I know goaltender, right defense, right. Okay.
Thing entirely by passing the puck from blue line to blue line. Though this strategy does require us having one of our players open at the opposing blue line, which is certainly not always going to be the case. Plus, the farther the puck travels on the ice without being touched by one of our players, the more dangerous the pass and the more time that the defense has to react and try to either intercept the puck or prevent that pass from getting through cleanly. Not to mention the fact that if the pass is off its mark and gets past our guy on the opposing blue line, it's likely to get all the way down to the other end of the ice, which then turns into icing, and we end up with a face-off back in our defensive zone and have to start all over again. So again, depending on the situation.
So when there is icing, when icing occurs, they have to start it all over again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this could be a relatively high-risk play, but it does come with the reward of just skipping through the neutral zone. Plus, it is a pretty good option as far as limiting the number of passes for teams that aren't quite as crisp at passing the puck. Of course, then the main alternative to this is to pass the puck back and forth as we move through the neutral zone. This does offer a little bit more control as the passes are shorter, allowing less time for the defense to react to them and potentially create a turnover. Though, obviously, it does have a lot more passing involved, so again, if you have a team that isn't particularly consistent at cleanly connecting on passes, it might not be the best option, as a missed or bobbled pass could just as easily lead to a turnover. And again, as far as how the passing...
Cross-passing, that passing, I think it was the Vegas. They were using that mostly to score.
Yeah. They go to the wood sides, then they cross back, then shoot.
Yeah.
Play develops where and when those passes are made to and from, as well as how many passes there are, really depends a lot on what our team's strategy is, and even more so, what is being given to us by the other team. And especially in a situation where the opposing team is really trying to lock down that neutral zone and make it difficult for our team to get through it, usually by aggressively attacking whatever player on our team has the puck at the time. One way that we can introduce even more control to our passing play and attempt to get through the neutral zone into the offensive end is to employ a little bit more of a rugby-style passing attack. And in case you're not really familiar with rugby, by that I mean using more...
I think rugby rule is you have always pass back. Like you throw...
To the one at the back.
Yeah. You can't throw to one in front of
you. If in case you are maybe the defend as more like of your opponents, you have like to
in any throw, any pass that you pass to your opponent, it should be at least back, not in front of you. There is no any pass going front. Yeah, it's always like this.
But I think he mentioned that in that situation, in that particular situation, you have to apply
that. Let's see.
Yeah.
Rugby-style passing attack. And in case you're not really familiar with rugby, by that I mean using more backward passing. So in this case...
That's what I'm saying, like there was a case, let's listen from the start.
Yeah.
Like in case of that case...
you have to apply that.
Attacking whatever player on our team has the puck at the time. One way that we can introduce even more control to our passing play and attempt to get through the neutral zone into the offensive end is to employ a little bit more of a rugby-style passing attack. And in case you're not really familiar with rugby, by that I mean using more backward passing. So in this case, the player with the puck will skate towards the opposing team, trying to get them to back off a little bit, and then when they run out of space, they'll pass it a little bit backwards to somebody else on our team, who then will do the same thing, again trying to skate a little bit farther this time, getting the opposing team to back off.
So it's like a trick you're using. You're making them run forward, then you pass back.
Yeah, and it's a way of getting to the neutral zone.
Exactly. So the more they move, of course, you will be moving.
They open up to the back pass again.
Off a little bit more, and then pass back to another player. So eventually we kind of just keep the opposing team on their heels into their defensive end of the ice. This strategy does offer our team the most control, at least as far as passing plays are concerned. But again, it's definitely not the fastest way through the neutral zone, and really isn't particularly necessary if the opposing team isn't really trying to hold that area of the ice.
So that is one of the strategies to get to the neutral zone.
Yeah, and that applies when the opponent team is pressing high.
Yes. It's like a trick.
And then finally, there's just a single player by themselves skating with the puck through the neutral zone and into the offensive end of the ice, which really is only going to happen if it's a breakaway, the opposing team is just content with playing defense at their end, or it's a Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid type that can just skate through everybody. And that will bring us to how to actually enter the offensive zone, where there's pretty much just two ways to do it. Either having one of our players carry it across the line after having either done it all themselves like we just talked about, or having received a pass probably somewhere near the blue line. Again, keeping in mind that we can't pass the puck across the blue line to one of our players because that would be offsides. So then the other option of how to get in the offensive zone is what's called the dump and chase. And that's where one of our players, usually at or between the center line and offensive blue line, will shoot or chip the puck down into the offensive end, behind the net, or into one of the two corners where either that player or one of our other players will then go chase it down and likely end up in a puck battle along the boards with the opposing team. And it's because of that fact that the dump and chase doesn't often lead to clear possession for the offensive team that, if given the choice, an offensive team will usually choose.
That is ozone.
Yeah, entering ozone.
I think ozone might be the zone behind the goal.
Yeah, I think that point where he was like, the two are running towards
For
it.
puck battle.
Yeah.
Choose to carry the puck into the offensive zone, having clear possession of it. But if the defensive team is doing a good job in the neutral zone, that may not always be an option, and the dump and chase is at least a way to get into the offensive end. It is also worth mentioning with the dump and chase that while this is an option to get through the second half of the neutral zone, it isn't usually a good idea to try it before getting to the center line, because if a player does dump it in from behind the center line all the way to the other end of the ice in the offensive zone, and it goes behind the goal line, that will be icing, and again, the puck will come all the way back into our defensive end for a face-off, and again, we have to start all over. And if you do need a reminder or a more clear description of what icing and offsides are, I do also have a video for that I will link down below. One other potential added benefit to the dump and chase is that it does get the puck deep into the offensive zone, where even if there is a puck battle along the boards, it will give the rest of our team a chance to get into the offensive zone and set up for a potential play, assuming we can win that battle. And since, like we said in the defensive video, oftentimes the puck does end up in the corner one way or another anyway, that's where we'll start with talking finally about the offensive zone and how we're going to try to get some goals scored.
Okay.
But let's back up and take the puck and opposing players out of the situation for just a second so we can talk about some basic positioning and zones of responsibility for our players in the offensive end.
Okay.
Again, this is going to look pretty much like a mirror of what we saw on the defensive end, though with our...
Okay, so it's a game of 5. You know, all this long I've never counted how many players are there.
There are always 5.
5.
5 then.
With that goaltender 6.
Yeah.
So with this 5, I have RD, RW, there is C, L, W, and LD. So what does that mean in
Or
position?
defender.
Right defense, right wing, no. Captain, no.
Let's just hear.
Control.
What he will say.
Okay.
defensemen who are now up by the blue line, they're much more responsible for sticking close to that blue line and kind of just the area.
So it's right defense, left defense.
Yeah, I think
right wing, left wing, and then... No, we are guessing.
Between that and the top of the face-off circle, with their main responsibility being making sure that puck doesn't get back past that blue line, which then would mean all of our players would have to exit the offensive zone so that we could reset and get back into the offensive zone back on side. This, of course, then does leave a lot more room for our wingers to move around in, where they're trying to...
Wingers.
So
defense and wingers.
And the C?
That's what he will mention.
Find a place to get lost in the defense, that they can receive a pass and potentially score a goal, or pick up a puck as it comes around behind the net along the boards. And finally, with the center, again, just like in the defensive end, they're pretty much a rover with their main area of focus being the center of the ice and the area around the net.
Okay.
But again, they will...
Now we have all of them, defense, wingers, and then the center.
Yeah.
And then the goaltender.
They'll be going to the boards to help out with puck battles when those do happen. And now, since scoring a goal 5-on-1, or I guess in this case 5-on-0, would be a little too easy, we will reintroduce those opposing players and the puck that we will have starting in the corner, as again, it often does. A lot of this is going to start to look familiar from what we saw in the defensive end, though again, remember we're looking at this from the offensive perspective. So now with the puck in the corner, our winger on that side and the opposing defenseman on that side will go into the corner to fight over it, where they're likely to find help from the two centers. Our defenseman who is on that side of the puck then will shade over towards the boards right along them, again making sure that if the puck does come out along the boards, which is one of the more likely scenarios, that it doesn't somehow get past him, across the blue line and out of the offensive zone. Meanwhile, our defenseman and winger on the other side are now going to come towards the middle of the ice, with the defenseman still up along the blue line, now just in the middle of it, and our winger coming into the middle of that slot right in front of the net, as we talked about, in the middle of that high danger scoring area where we really want to be getting the puck in order to score goals. So now if the puck does come out of that battle along the boards out into the middle of the ice, we now have two guys there that could potentially pick it up and get a shot off that has a relatively high chance of scoring. Of course, though, again, if the puck does come out of that puck battle without clear possession, or even sometimes when there is clear possession, it's much more likely that it's going to go up the boards towards the blue line or down the boards along around behind the net. If it goes up the boards, it should go straight up to our defenseman who is there by the blue line to collect it and hopefully help us get set up in the offensive zone with clear possession. If it goes down the boards along around behind the net, then there is a good chance it'll end up in the opposite corner, where again another puck battle could end up happening, this time between the winger on the other side and the opposing defenseman on the other side.
Oh, so that moment when it's like at the corner, it's a puck battle, right?
Yeah, it's a puck battle on the zone.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
And if that's what happens, then the rest of the players will shift over on both teams, so we end up with basically a mirrored situation to what we just had on the other side. From here, let's say the puck does get up along the blue line to our defenseman on this side, and we can get clear possession and start to get set up in the offensive end. If that does happen, the defenseman will either 1, pass it quickly off to the defenseman in the middle to try and get a quick shot off, or he will keep possession and skate it kind of along the blue line more towards the middle of the ice, which does open up a little bit more options for him as far as places to pass it to. At this point, the rest of our players are going to go kind of more towards the middle of those zones that we talked about, with the center out in front of the net trying to screen the goaltender and looking for a shot to tip into the net. The most likely potential exception to this is that the winger on the opposite side from whichever defenseman has the puck could go a little bit more towards the net, trying to sneak into the back door area.
So, in case of that scenario, the centers are the one who are supposed to come to the goaltender
to
score or defend, but the rest of them should remain on there, like on the wings and the defense zone. Okay.
Hope so.
Where a crossing pass could find his stick and sneak in past the goaltender before he can get back across to stop the shot. Once we're set up, our team has a couple of options. The defenseman who has the puck could take a shot off on net, at this point likely either looking for a tip in to get past the goaltender, with the hope being that the puck does get past the goaltender and into the net for a goal, but also for a potential rebound that could come out to one of our guys, then making for a much better scoring opportunity, as rebound chances are much more likely to go in than first opportunities are. Either way though, if we are going to be taking shots...
Okay, so rebounds chances are high. Rebounds have high chances of getting scored.
Yes.
Shots from around the outside, especially up by the blue line while we're on offense, we do need some guys out in front of the net in that slot area to potentially create some opportunities, because if we are taking shots without anybody in that center area of the ice, it's going to make it pretty easy on the goaltender to not only make the save, but also limit and control rebounds, preventing us from getting those secondary opportunities. So then the other potential option for our defenseman with the puck is to pass it, most likely to the other defenseman or the winger on the same side. And if it is to the winger on the same side, he is then looking to either get a crossing pass to the other winger, which those are the ones that create the best opportunities, as the goaltender has to go from one side of the goal to the other.
I was thinking, like, can he just not score?
I think there is these two guys who will block that shot.
Pass it to the center.
That's an option too.
Other before a shot can get off, which is a much more difficult thing for him to do, or trying to get it to the center who's out in front of the net so he can hopefully try to get it past the goaltender himself.
That's the right way.
Either way, we're probably looking at a pass here, unless this winger can skate himself into one of these high danger scoring areas where he can get a shot off. Again, shots from the outside, we're pretty much either looking for a rebound or a screen and tip in. So it's pretty much just passing the puck along the outside between the wingers and defensemen, looking for either a cross pass opportunity or a shot from those high danger scoring areas in the middle of the ice. Of course, one other potential way to create a high danger scoring opportunity is for a player behind the net to pass the puck out in front of it, which again causes the goaltender to shift his focus pretty dramatically from looking behind the net where he's going to be.
That's the score. I think I saw it on the previous game that
on the Cairns,
I think the previous game, I don't know, it was the Vegas or the I think it was the Hurricanes. They used it to score.
I remember that goal.
Yeah.
closing off one side of the net to trying to find where that pass is going in front of it before the shot gets off, and he might not be able to cover that entire goal in time for the shot to get past him. Now, it is also worth mentioning that if a defenseman has a puck and he sees an opportunity or has some reason to go down farther into the offensive zone beyond his typical zone area up by the blue line, at that point, which this does happen occasionally during games, it's up to the winger on that side or potentially the center who's ever closer to take responsibility for that area up by the blue line in place of the defenseman until he can get back and take it back over himself. The big danger being that if this doesn't happen and that area is left vacated with nobody else taking responsibility for it, even outside of the potential increased possibility of the puck getting across the blue line and causing our team to have to reset, there's also a much bigger chance of a potential breakaway if the puck gets onto one of the opposing team's sticks and they are past our defenseman and they can get going the other way, either on a free breakaway or a 2-on-1 with just the one defenseman left up there by the blue line. So again, for the defensemen, if they are going to go deeper into the offensive zone, they have to be sure that there's someone there to take their place. And for the wingers, they do have to be aware that if a defenseman comes down, they have to go up and take responsibility for that area to prevent any potential dangerous situations happening going the other way. And that is pretty much it as far as the basics for positioning and strategy in the offensive zone, as well as getting through the neutral zone and getting into the offensive zone in the first place. Again, we're just trying to get into this offensive zone with possession of the puck, set up, create chances in those high danger scoring areas, and make sure that that puck gets into the net. If you do have any questions or think I forgot something, please do feel free to leave those down in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to get to as many of them as I possibly can. With that though, we will call it good for this one, so if you have made it to this point, thank you very much for watching. I hope that you liked or enjoyed this video, and if you did, there are buttons for that kind of stuff down below that do help out the channel, so I'd appreciate you using them. And until next time, stay safe out there, and
bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, this was so amazing.
Yeah,
so educative.
Enriching. I think now what I just remain with is to know how to skate.
Me too.
Then have a stick.
How to balance the puck
the jerseys or maybe the costumes. No, not costumes.
The jerseys.
Yeah. Either way, they are not that much heavy.
No, with the skating shoe, I feel you should be able to balance.
The problem is now skating.
But this, at least we know the ozone, the ozone is the offensive zone.
The ozone is behind the goal.
Yeah, and like in full, it's offensive zone.
Yeah.
Then the neutral zone, there is the defenders, the wingers, the centers, the goaltender. Like we know the basics.
It's divided into three.
Yes.
Yeah, neutral, defensive, and offensive.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I know also the battle area, the park battle. Most of the position really helped. My next question is, while playing the hockey, are you allowed to maybe kick the puck with your skates, with your shoes?
With your shoes?
Can I score with it? Like I see a chance that score like soccer.
I don't think so. I don't think.
What if it hits my leg and gets?
Yeah. The same like maybe it hits your hand, like it hits your leg.
Yeah, is
like,
there
a penalty
handball
or
like
what?
in soccer when you
hit it with your hand, there is a penalty. Yeah. So I don't know how that
can
works.
I score with my skates like?
I don't, because I've never seen. Maybe I feel like the goal. Now you're giving me rules. I feel like the goaltender is the one who is allowed to pick up can hold it with their hands or the skating shoes.
But can a defender a winger score, center? Tell us that.
Yeah.
But thank you, Dan, for such an interesting episode, and thank you for introducing us to such an enticing game.
Exactly. Yeah. At least now we are knowing how to play, or even when any team is playing, you can have some tips to like, can you just pass it like this, pass to the center maybe and score, like at least you have those
and
basic
knowledge. In any game, fans know to play better than players.
You're like, that was so close, you could have just done this and this, and then
Yeah.
you score. It's always that easy until you
Yeah.
get to the
pitch, the court.
Yeah.
Yeah, and guys, for such an interesting episode, there's such interesting vibe. Subscribe to be updated. And stay
Exactly.
tuned.
Yeah, and thank you so much, guys, for your time. We hope to see you on our next one. Bye bye.